In the beginning, there was a garden, a place of pure tranquility, untouched by any sorrow or pain. It was a world where innocence itself walked hand in hand with God, in the cool, gentle breezes of the day. Every single tree in this vibrant paradise was given for joy, its fruits a delight to behold and taste. Every breath drawn in this perfect realm was filled with an abiding sense of peace and contentment. Only one boundary, a single, sacred limit, stood in the very center of this beautiful paradise. It was a particular tree, holding within its branches not just fruit, but a profound choice for all. Then, subtly, insidiously, a whisper began to weave through the serene air of the garden. It was soft, almost imperceptible, yet incredibly clever in its cunning, dangerously beautiful in its allure. Did God really say, "You must not eat from any tree in the garden"? The whisper insinuated. The question hung in the air, a subtle poison, twisting clear truth into a tantalizing temptation. It began to turn unwavering trust into the first seeds of doubt, planting them deep within the heart. The forbidden fruit itself looked incredibly pleasing, bright with a deceptive promise of enlightenment. It glowed with the illusion of profound wisdom, beckoning with an irresistible, false allure. And in one fragile crystal apple fruit, pivotal moment, the hand of innocence slowly, hesitantly, reached out. She took the fruit, her fingers closing around its smooth, tempting skin, and then she ate. He, witnessing her act, soon followed, succumbing to the same powerful, forbidden desire. And suddenly, in that very instant, their eyes were opened, no longer veiled by innocence. But they did not open to glory or to greater understanding. Instead, they opened to shame. A chilling wave of fear washed over them, an emotion utterly unknown in their perfect world before. They heard the agonizing sound of their own hearts breaking, shattering into countless pieces. Overwhelmed by their nakedness and guilt, they frantically sought to hide among the dense trees. They tried to conceal themselves from the one who had always loved them with an unconditional love. Then, a voice, filled with an indescribable depth of emotion, called through the vast garden. It was not a voice of anger, as they might have expected, but one heavy with profound sorrow. "Where are you?" the divine question echoed, filled with a longing that pierced the very air. The question resonated far beyond the rustling trees, beyond the sudden, heavy silence. It echoed beyond the boundaries of time itself, reaching into the depths of their souls. Blame, a bitter and corrosive emotion, swiftly replaced the pure trust they once shared. Fear, cold and paralyzing, usurped the place of the profound peace that had always been theirs. And the very ground beneath their feet seemed to tremble, feeling the immense weight of their choice. Pain, a new and unwelcome companion, would now inevitably come into their existence. Labor, arduous and demanding, would become a constant, inescapable part of their lives. Dust, from which they were formed, would ultimately claim their bodies once more in death. Paradise, their beautiful, perfect home, was irrevocably lost to them in that moment. Yet, even amidst the solemn pronouncement of judgment, a sacred promise was softly spoken. One day, the encroaching darkness that had just entered the world would be utterly crushed. Evil, with its insidious grip, would not triumph forever. Its reign would eventually end. Hope, a fragile but powerful seed, had already begun to sprout in the heart of despair. Clothed in garments of mercy, a tender act of divine compassion, they stepped out of Eden. They were not abandoned to their fate, but rather carried forward by a hidden, intricate plan. It was a plan of redemption, meticulously crafted, unfolding through the vast expanse of time. And a flaming sword, blazing with divine power, turned ceaselessly in the east. It guarded the sacred way back to the tree of life, preventing their return to an unearned paradise. The sword stood as a sentinel, a stark reminder of their profound, world-altering choice. It would remain there, a barrier, until the appointed day, when the way would open again. A day when the path to true life, to reconciliation, would be graciously revealed once more. Their journey began, marked by the sorrow of loss but illuminated by the distant gleam of hope. They walked into a world now touched by thorns and thistles, a consequence of their disobedience. Yet, within their hearts, the echo of the promise resonated, a quiet assurance of future grace. The memory of the garden, though painful, served as a constant reminder of what was lost. But also, It fueled a longing for the restoration that had been foretold, a new beginning. Generations would pass, bearing the weight of that first choice, yet never without the promise. The whisper of temptation had brought ruin, but the whisper of redemption offered eternal life. Their story is truly the story of all humanity, a message that proclaims the enduring hope of salvation even in the midst of the fall. The vast expanse of time would unfold, carrying the weight of their decision and its consequences. But through it all, the divine plan, intricate and perfect, continued its slow, steady progression. The flaming sword, a symbol of justice, also hinted at a future where justice would meet mercy. The way to life, once barred, would ultimately be reopened through a profound act of love. And so, the first chapter of humanity closed, but the grand narrative of redemption had just begun. A story of hope, forgiveness, and the eventual triumph of light over the deepest darkness.